Joy Breakfast, the nation's favourite rainbow breakfast show.
Our next guest is an incredibly talented DJ, producer, and multi-instrumentalist that has just arrived back home in Oz after a successful US tour. His single, Stumbling In, is a worldwide smash, and he's come into Joy to tell us all about his new music. We're so excited that he's here. Welcome to Joy Brecky, CYRIL.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you've had such a fascinating journey so far, growing up in regional Australia to becoming an international artist. Take us back to the early days. How did you get started as a music producer?
I started making music, and I started playing guitar when I was 2 years old, and then when I was about 12 I started diving into being in bands and stuff like that, and I found that relying on other people just wasn't a vibe. So I started making music in the school music room, and I didn't do much English and maths and stuff. I was terrible at school, so he'd literally write me notes every class, and I'd go in there and teach the younger kids. I was 14, and I was teaching the year 12s how to do play guitar or play drums and stuff, and then I'd just sit there on my free classes because I literally didn't go to any other class. I just sat there and made music.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So just a natural from the beginning, hey?
Yeah, I was pretty crap. I was pretty bad.
Well, you got to start somewhere. But look how far you've come. The breakout moment now has come with the single "Stumbling In." Just took off globally. How did it feel watching that song just blow up the way that it did?
It was, I don't know, I still can't explain the feeling because it was something I worked on for so long.
Okay.
So when it happened, it was sort of finally, I don't think it was oh, that's really lucky. It was more finally, I finally done the thing I wanted to do for so long.
Yeah.
So it's sort of I just treat it like a job. I don't really see an exciting... I think it's exciting, but I see it more as I finally got my dream job that I wanted to do. So that's how I sort of see it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Stumbling really took off as a result of TikTok. And I want to know, does this impact the way that you produce music now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say 70% of the time that I'm making a song, I'm like, how am I going to do the preview on TikTok? Which part of this song needs to be on TikTok? How do I make that sound like it's engaging enough to be on TikTok? The other 30% is me producing for country acts and, doing pop music or making instrumentals or producing for other, DJs and stuff. So, yeah, most of the time I'm producing my song. It's how can I make this blow up on TikTok so then I can essentially grab that bit of the song and then turn it into a full song and make it go good on Spotify. Yeah.
We've noticed that a lot of songs have decreased in terms of length. So they're now around 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they used to be 3.5, 4 minutes.
Yep.
I was thinking exactly the same thing as you were chatting.
Yeah. And that's funny you say that because Still Into You, the new track that came out last week, it was the first version was 3 minutes 50. Yeah, and then but the record label were hey, can we shorten this to be more radio friendly? Because radio, everywhere now just wants shorter songs, and it's crazy. I don't know, definitely, I don't know about this radio station, but definitely European radio stations are looking for songs that are 2 minutes 30, so they can just keep the crowd engaged, because I think the attention span has just dropped so much. If you look at every hit now, or most hits now are in the 2 minute section.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, you've toured internationally, including your recent US tour. What's it like taking your music internationally to a global audience?
Now that was the crazy part, I think. It was all about I got my job, but then when I went overseas and I had crowds, for instance, I was in Germany and I played at Bruggerville. That's a really big festival over there. The theming is wow, it's insane. It's like Tomorrowland sort of thing.
Right.
But I went to a stage and there was 200 people at the stage. And I'm to my manager, look, let's just count this one as a fun gig. Just have some fun. No need to get upset about it. It's only 4 p.m. in the afternoon. The festival's just opened. So I've walked into my green room and I had a shot of Jägermeister, and then and the Jägermeister put my name on and stuff. I'm oh, this is really cool. But yeah, my project manager came out and said, "Cyril, go look at the crowd." And I went out, that was packed. I'm oh, the festival's picked up. So I played my set, and then I jumped off, and the Prince of Netherlands jumped on, and there was then everyone left. And at that moment, I realised that like 3,000 to 4,000 people actually went to the stage just to see me. And that was
fantastic.
times like that.
That's great.
Make me just have shivers. They're the moments that I love. They're the exciting moments for me.
That's
awesome.
so great.
Yeah.
And speaking of festivals, you're rocking a pretty gnarly injury there. Tell us about that.
So I was at Tomorrowland. It was so boring. I was literally like there the day before I had to play. I was walking past the dubstep stage, and I went down like a slope. Like it wasn't even a hill. It was like a gutter, basically.
Right.
And it was grass, and it was slippery. Apparently, I didn't know that. So I slipped down, and I've broke my ankle, and all I can hear is bah bah bah, like all this dubstep. I'm like, just kill me.
This is purgatory right here.
Yeah, that was awful.
So did you get to play, or did you have to go to
No,
hospital?
I had to go to hospital. They put me on, they actually shot me up with ketamine, and that wasn't fun because I don't really like tripping. But so they've shot me up with ketamine. They've put me in a wrap. They've put me in the ambulance. I talked a lot to my manager. I don't know what I talked about, but I remember talking a lot.
Yeah.
I got to the hospital. They put me to sleep because my foot was all messed up. And yeah, they fixed me up, and then 2 weeks later, I had surgery.
We're not going to see any of that on the socials, like you hyped up on ketamine, talking crap in the back of the ambulance.
I don't know. I don't want to know what I said. I'll probably get cancelled if I don't know.
That's a TikTok right there.
CYRIL on ketamine. That's a meme.
Wow.
Check out the hottest breakfast show in town. Joy 94.9 in your car, on the Joy app, or stream us live on iHeartRadio. Joy Breakfast.
Let's talk about your new single. We mentioned it before. It's Still Into You. You've teamed up with Mary Jo on this one. It's got an amazing bouncy energy to it. What was the creative process behind this track?
Man, I love the original by Paramore, and I found that it made me feel like I was floating on clouds. So I sort of took that and sort of tried to make it feel like that, but more danceable.
Great.
And and the whole marketing behind it was like just fun and energetic. You know, I want to bring positivity to the world with my music and stuff.
Love that.
And I felt like that was sort of a great track to do that. And I didn't actually think it would blow up on TikTok because I don't know. I just didn't. It was so different the way I made it compared to the others. Like, I don't really ever think to myself, I want to make a song floating on clouds. You know? Or dancing on clouds.
Or on ketamine.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was sort of the creative process behind that. But then when it blew up, I was like, oh man, I really want to get this out. I hit the radio record label up, and I was like, hey, we've got to get this out. We've got to get it now. It's really good. It's popping off. And they're like, hey, we can't drop it yet. So I waited 7 months to get this out. So
wow.
It's been 7 months of finding a new singer. Man, such a roller coaster.
Well, we're so happy it's finally been released into the wild. Now, what's really great about your music is that it really holds true to the core feeling of the original track, but there's always a signature CYRIL spin on it.
Yeah.
How do you balance maintaining your signature sound with also evolving musically with each release?
I think that's something I've been looking at lately a lot. How to keep evolutionising this sound that I've created. And I think, what did we call it, Luke? It was like Tropical Stutter, wasn't it? That's the name of it, yeah. So we're trying to make a new genre of it, and I've actually been teaching some producers on how to do it. But the other thing is, like, I don't want it to be repetitive. You know, like the stutter and the vocal and stuff. I don't want that to get old. So I have been experimenting in how to make that new and fresh. So the releases that come next year are like, you know, a bit more fresher, more guitars, you know, a little bit more mellow sometimes. And I think I've written like 150 songs in the last 4 months.
Fantastic.
I don't know if any of them will get released. It's just me trying to practice new ways of... Yeah, so I haven't been dropping a lot of remixes lately. I've been just dropping ones that, you know, I've made over time. But yeah, I've got this new sound that I'm sort of working on to come out with next year. Well, it's still the same, but it's like different. That's, I don't know how to explain it.
Love that.
And
It's like me with a haircut.
Not going to happen.
Going for a mohawk next.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
You were talking in the process as well about having to find a singer, and you've got Mary Jo on the track. Such a powerful part of the song, her vocals. What was it like collaborating with her and
Man,
putting it
she's
together?
just a great person.
Yeah.
Her energy is amazing. We only met the one time because most of the time you write with like me writing with like Dean Lewis or Keita Alexander, people like that. We don't really link up until the song's done to do the promo side of things because it's so easy to jump on a laptop and make it now. So.
Yeah.
But
wherever you are in the world, you just jump in a studio and lay it down, send it to you.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly. But basically, the funny thing about Mary Jo was she gave me the vocal around because Atlantic have the rights to Still Into You, but Hayley Williams didn't want to be on it, which was fine. I don't know what happened there, to be honest. I don't know if she said that, but it just couldn't happen.
Sure.
So basically, what happened was. Atlantic, which owns the rights to that song, said, hey, we want one of our artists on the track. I'm like, sweet, no worries. And they sent me Mary Jo's vocal. And I listened to it. I'm like, this is so great. What else can we get? I just wanted to make sure the vocal was right. It's not Hayley Williams. I didn't want to upset the listener. So I went through 7 other vocals. And I got another one that was pretty good. I sent it to my A&R, and he's like, yeah, this is good. But what about the first one? And at this point, this is like 3 months later, I've sort of kept... Because I've tried to change it so much, I kept forgetting about the first one. So I went back to the first one. I'm like, we've just wasted so much time.
Yeah.
That was the first vocal I got. She smashed it. I should have just went for the, I should have went with my instincts. But it doesn't really matter. We got it out. I think we got it out. Perfect timing. 1 year anniversary for Stumbling In. And, Still Into You's now here. So
That's
awesome.
great.
Awesome.
Now, speaking of Stumbling In, you've achieved lots of international acclaim already. We've spoken about that. You've actually been nominated for ARIA Song of the Year for Stumbling In. You must be pretty stoked right now.
I'm pumped, man.
Yeah.
To be, nominated not just once but twice. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. It's an absolute privilege, and we're up for another a TikTok award as well. So I'm just so happy about it, to be honest. Hopefully a Grammy.
Great. That would be
That'd be
awesome.
Yes.
Grammy nominated.
Aussies taking over. Love that.
I love it.
Are there any exciting projects or tours that we should keep an eye out for?
I have 3 hard ticket shows coming up. One in Melbourne, one in Sydney, one in Brisbane. I don't know the dates, but I'm definitely doing them, so you can check them out. But yeah, I'm back in Australia for the month until November. Then I'm off to Europe again for another quick Europe run before the end of the year, and then I go to Asia.
Awesome.
Very busy.
Always.
And lastly, with everything that's happened to you, what's the next big goal for you in well beyond 2024?
Oh man, maybe I'll make a movie. I'm
Why
kidding,
not?
I'm kidding. I don't actually know. I'm going day by day right now. I'm just loving the process. I have no idea. I just know I tour a lot, and next summer's pretty much all booked out for shows.
Terrific.
But here's some new music though. Always new music, always new shows. Maybe a haircut. I don't know yet.
Don't
Just kidding.
rush that one.
maybe 2026.
Maybe blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually done a vote on my Instagram. I said, should I bleach my hair? And I tell you what, there was like 400 people that said yes.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
There
Yeah.
was
You need
300 that said no though, so it'll be controversial.
No, give the people what they want.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%.
You need something that works with the bucket hat.
I had pink hair once. I bleached my hair and then I put pink in it. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
A pink mo would work, I reckon.
Yeah, a pink mo with a mullet.
Awesome. CYRIL, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here on Joy Brekkie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Melbourne's most out of control and over the top breakfast show.